Hello, and thank you, Kate and David, for the introduction. It's quite a humble moment to be in this stage in front of so many leaders and so many thought leaders and brave people. And for me, it's a great privilege to be here with all of you, future leaders at One Young World. I'm extremely proud to help you guys build long-lasting connections and initiate action to create positive change. So, I would like to share with you something that is very close to my heart. It's how purpose-led innovation improve people's lives. Let me start by sharing an experience that changed the way I see my contribution to the world. I was visiting a township in Mumbai where I met many wonderful people. Some are in this photo, and we are having a lot of fun, as you can see. Probably they are having more fun than me because I was trying to play cricket, and as a Brazilian trying to play cricket, you can see make kids laugh. But one story in particular touched me. Ritu, a mother of a 3-month-old, told me the harrowing story of losing her child due to diarrhea. I had 3 different emotional reactions. First, it made me deeply sad. Of course it did. I grew up in Brazil, which has its share of poverty and social tragedy. But it's been a while since I saw it up close. Then a second emotion kicked in, and I felt very angry. It's unacceptable. Diarrhea is 100% preventable, and no child should die as a result. But my third reaction was much later and lasted much longer. After the sadness and the anger had subsided, I found myself being deeply embarrassed. I was embarrassed because we should not allow this to happen. I want to talk to you today about purpose-led innovation in action. And this is all about embarrassment. The things you should be embarrassed by as a society, as leaders, and how global, innovative brands can help. So, should work? Yes. Back. So, going fast, it's my cricket. So, let's see. Yes. So, what do you think these 3 things have in common? A mosquito, a condom, and a toilet.
Oh dear.
I can see your minds spinning. All 3 are examples of where we can make a difference. In RB, we build global brands that help to protect people against mosquito-borne diseases, to have great, safe sex, and to have access to clean toilets. Sounds very simple, but I lead an organization that creates hundreds of innovations every year, innovative solutions across 20 global brands to attack these simple, big, harrowing problems. And we do it with passion, determination, and belief in the positive impact that our brands have in people's daily lives. Our driving force and motivation is to tackle these big problems, the problems that embarrass all of us. Let's come back to my visit to Mumbai. I was in Mumbai examining an initiative we are part of called Project Hope. It's a project where young women knock on the doors and talk to pregnant women. They discuss nothing more complicated than the washing of hands, how to feed their babies if they become dehydrated, and good hygiene practices. These girls have been trained as activists to make a positive change of mothers in their community. The effect on child mortality in this community was remarkable and moving. Quite simply, there are many people alive today who would not be if that program did not exist. And once a generation of mothers is practicing good hygiene, those good hygiene habits are passed on to the next generation and so on. But the fact is that in some areas, women cannot maintain normal hygiene routines because they are at the risk of ridicule or rape if they do so. It's not just a hygiene issue, it's a social one. Our responsibility as brand owners goes beyond supporting educational programs. We develop innovative solutions that solve this very much social issue. We have immense research and development capabilities, but that's not all what we do. We have also access to many resources, and we mobilize all of them. When you add in all the people we work with, it's a force that's much greater than just one of us. When you add in the impacted people as well, like these girls, it's truly massive and can become truly scalable and global. I would like to share with you three of the most important things I have learned about brands and purpose-led innovations. Perhaps they'll just be interesting for you. Perhaps they'll just inspire you to engage with brands that are true force for goods. Or perhaps, and I hope, you'll be creating your own innovative global brands that will tackle issues that makes us very embarrassed, that embarrass all of us. So, these are the three things I have learned. The first is this. It's not about what we say, it's about what we do. Having a purpose brand is not about feel-good storytelling or advocacy. It's about creating disruptive solutions. You start with an insight, asking yourself, what's the problem we are trying to solve, what do people need? Then you bring the science, the technology, the activation that deliver big, meaningful impact on people's lives. It's all about what we do, not about what we say. The second thing I have learned is that these type of insights, the breakthrough insights, come from listening. Listening is the most important thing. People impacted by these issues, they have limitless choices, and they exercise those choices. This calls for a deeper understanding of why people think what they think and why they do what they do. So the second biggest learning is about listening. And brands have to listen to the people impacted and to the communities. The third thing I have learned is that trust is the most important asset a brand can have. Building trust is our number one task as brand owners, and keeping trust is essential. In today's world, brands have to have a true sense of purpose and must go beyond than just selling stuff and being a good citizen. We all know that the impact of brands, the impact they can have can be huge. However, brand needs to behave and act in a coherent, and ethical way. When brands have true sense of purpose and engage in an ethical way with multiple stakeholders, they have earned the right to be a major force for positive change. Brands need to do what is right, even if it hurts business in the short term. For instance, they need to help shape and improve regulations. So, what I mean by earning that right? I mean that the area of concern of embarrassment, the thing that needs change, must be very close to the essence of the brand. The very reason for the brand to exist must be completely aligned with the nature of the good it's trying to do. So that is the third big lesson. Trust is key, needs to be at the essence of a brand if it wants to create positive change. So how we do it? Connect ads. One example is where Durex is making a real impact in my beloved South Africa. Through our sponsored education program in secondary schools, we have reduced the incidence of unwanted pregnancy by 50%. That's what I call force for good. Another example close to my heart is the work we have done with our insecticide brands in Brazil, SBP, to fight mosquito-borne diseases and engaging with authorities and communities. I want to show you a video that tells how this can be done and the impact that it can have in the community. The impact it can have to keep the dreams of the community becoming reality. Could you please play the video?
São Paulo do Potengi. In 2016, this small city in Rio Grande do Norte state hit the headlines, but not for a good reason. A dengue, Zika, and chikungunya outbreak frightened the local population, and the city was one of the most affected by Aedes aegypti in the country.
Eu tive medo, porque eu sabia o risco que ocorria no meu município. Eu sabia o nível de infestação que tinha.
Crowded hospitals, interrupted dreams. How can a brand change the history of an entire city? How can a brand provide hope for thousands of people? SBP, fighting to eliminate 100% of dengue, Zika, and chikungunya, did a field study in São Paulo do Potengi. And the results were amazing.
Quando começou a mudar, quando o pessoal de SPP veio aqui. Eu tinha que usar o repelente 24 horas, então para mim o projeto caiu assim, como uma luva, né? A gente caiu de 500 casos para 28. Estamos todos protegidos. E agora eu posso sonhar em ver meu filho crescer. E vou.
And the impact was not only in public health. SBP also brought more prosperity to São Paulo do Potengi. SBP changed the history of the city. Now the next step is to spread the movement all over the country. We are going to expand the experiment to the rest of Brazil and help to solve a massive public health issue.
And we are making this now using this field study and everything we learned with authorities and community to go city by city and help to protect every city. So I want you to think about a question. What do you see in the world that embarrasses you most? To put that question another way, what are you going to be embarrassed by when you are standing here 20 years' time? What you're going to feel embarrassed that you have not tackled 20 years from now? I will start. First, I'm deeply embarrassed by the lack of gender diversity in the workplace. It's the one thing I think my generation and the one before me could and should have acted quicker and more profoundly. I feel embarrassed. Second, I want to talk about sex and sexual health, a human right, an embarrassed subject which is taboo for many, but also one where more discussion needs to take place. Here are a couple of shocking statistics. 1 million people a day contract a sexually transmitted disease, STIs. The STI rates have increased by 50% since 1995. 4 people become HIV positive every minute. 26% of 18-25 years olds say that they use porn to educate themselves about sex. That makes me very embarrassed. We should break the taboo. We need to make sexual health a human right. Third, in a time when there has never been greater access to affordable health care, a staggering 6.5 million deaths occurs annually from pollution. Yes, pollution. This has moved from an issue of environmental concern to a general health epidemic. It's no longer limited to places like Beijing or New Delhi. Readings from London or Paris subways often worse than those of major urban cities. It's an invisible threat that needs to be addressed urgently. Lastly, and this problem has been around for way too long, a massive 2.5 billion people do not have access in the world of today to safe water and basic hygiene. This is, in my view, beyond embarrassing. I find it unconscionable that in the 21st century, people do not have the dignity and the basic human rights of sanitation. These are the paradoxes of progress. Never before have we made so many advances, have we had so many human capital to solve so many issues for so many. But these advances have brought about unintended consequences and often newer and bigger issues. So where does that leave us? Change is a choice. How will we, you and me, be judged by the future generations? We will be judged not by the number of ideas we had and how much we talked about it, although that's certainly how it starts. In the end, we'll be judged by the choices we make and what we do about it. So what's the plan? First, let's make our voices heard. Then let's make those choices and let's change things for the better using the power of collaboration and partnership, of mobilization. Take action now using the hashtag #ChangeIsAChoice, and I'm confident that with leaders like you today, we can change and will not be embarrassed for the next generations to come. Thank you very much.